Hello, welcome to Prism Technologies. I am Venkat. This is part 103 of ASP.NET video series. In this session, we'll discuss about redirecting users from HTTP to HTTPS using IIS error pages. In the previous session, we discussed about redirecting users using the URL rewrite module. So within IIS, when we expand the server node and then sites and then the default website, we have this web application 1. At this application level, we have actually specified the URL rewrite rules. So if I search for URL rewrite and select that, so we have the rule here. So because of this rule, if I fire up a browser and then if I try to navigate to http:// I'm using the HTTP protocol to access this web application 1. So if I press enter, it's going to automatically redirect me to HTTPS, and that's because of this specific rule that we have in IIS. So let's go ahead and delete this now. So as soon as I delete that rule from IIS for that web application, now let's restart the server just to make sure. So we have restarted the IIS server. Now let me go ahead, copy that URL, and then fire up another browser instance and paste that URL, change HTTPS to HTTP. I press enter. Look at that, I am able to access this application using HTTP protocol. Now we don't want that. We want the users to be automatically redirected to HTTPS protocol. Okay, let's see how to do that using custom error pages. And custom error pages can be set at the server level or at a specific application level in IIS. Now if you set the custom error pages at the server level, these are applicable to all the web applications running on that server. Obviously you can override those settings at specific application level as well. In this demo, we'll be discussing about setting the custom error pages at the server level, and there are 3 very simple steps to do that. Step 1, make sure require SSL option from SSL settings is checked for your web application in IIS. So flip to IIS. So this is my web application 1. In the previous session, when we redirected users from HTTP to HTTPS automatically, we have actually set this require SSL option to unchecked. We unchecked this so that when the user uses HTTP protocol, he don't get any error. He will be automatically redirected because of that URL rewrite rule. But if we want to redirect the users automatically using error pages, then we want to raise that error. So I'm going to check this require SSL and apply that. So as a result of this change, what's going to happen if a user tries to access my application using the HTTP protocol, I'm going to get an error. Because why? Within IIS we said the application requires SSL, to access this application. Okay, but then the user is trying to access the application using HTTP protocol, so we get this error 403.4. And notice the error code 403.4 because we will be using this error code later when we actually want to redirect the user using the custom error page. Okay, so that's the first step. What's the second step? Create an HTML file that does the redirection. So this is where the redirection happens. Okay, so within the HTML file, we need to copy and paste the HTML that looks like this. Now this is a bit of HTML and JavaScript code. So I have HTML head and then title. Within title, we have given it a meaningful title redirecting to HTTPS. And then look at that. After the closing of the head tag, we have a script tag there. This JavaScript, this piece of JavaScript that you can see here, this is the JavaScript function that is actually doing the redirection. So script type is equal to text/JavaScript, language is equal to JavaScript, and then we have the function itself, redirect HTTP to HTTPS. That's the JavaScript function. And look at this, we have 2 variables here. The first variable, the HTTP URL. So when I type in a URL like this, http:// let's copy and paste that in a notepad. So if I have a URL like this, now this one is nothing but the host name, and this is the path name. Okay, so we want to retrieve the host name and the path name, and we are doing that using this JavaScript function. Okay, look at that, vendor.location.hostname. That will give me this host name, and then vendor.location.pathname will give me the rest of the path. Okay, and then what we are doing, we are basically concatenating both of them. So we basically get, this piece. Okay, so whatever you see there, this piece we get because of this expression that we see there. And then what we are doing there, we are concatenating that with https:// using a plus sign. So as a result of the second line here, we will actually get https:// Look at the URL now, the http URL. We have actually converted that to https URL. And then finally, we are setting window.location is equal to that URL, which is nothing but this one, the HTTPS URL. So the user will be automatically redirected to HTTPS. Okay, look at this. That's the function definition. And then we are actually invoking that function, redirect HTTP to HTTPS. Okay, so the script, this function gets called when this page is executed, and then the user will be automatically redirected to HTTPS URL. So let's save this file as an HTML file. So I have this JavaScript code, the HTML and the JavaScript function in a notepad. So I'm going to click Control S to save that, and then I'm going to save that in C drive. So C:\inetpub. So I'm going to save that in inetpub. I'm going to give it a meaningful name. Maybe I'll call this redirect to HTTPS. I'm going to save that as .htm. Select all files .star. So I'm going to save that. So I've saved that within C:\inetpub. So that's the second step. What's the final step? The final step is basically in IIS set the error page. Okay, so we know that now at the moment, if we try to access the application using HTTP protocol, we get this error. And then we also have an HTML file which will automatically redirect the user if that file is accessed. So now for this status code, we want to set, okay, execute the file that we have just created in C:\inetpub. So within this, we want to set this as the custom error page for this status code 403.4, and we want to do that in IIS. Okay, so within IIS, I will select the server because I'm going to set that at the server level, and then I'm going to search for error pages. So within IIS, I have error pages. Double click that to open the feature, and I have 404, but what do we want? We want 403.4. So within IIS, we have 403 and 404 error status code, but I want it for 403.4. So I'm going to add an error status code here. So it's 403.4. And what do I want to do? I want to execute a file that's present in C:\inetpub. And if you remember, the name of the file is redirect to https.htm. So that's the file which I want to get executed. Okay, so I'm going to click OK on that. So we have set an error status code. So now what happens for this status code, this file gets executed, C:\inetpub / redirect to https.htm. But then another thing that we have to do here is edit feature settings. Now look at this. These are the settings of the IIS. Now if you say custom error pages here, what's going to happen for on the local machine, if you access the site either on the local machine or remotely, the custom error pages will be shown, which means this error page will be shown. Okay, on the other hand, if I say detailed errors, both when you access the application locally or remotely, in both the cases, then you're going to get the actual detailed error messages like this. And we don't want this kind of error messages to be shown to the end users. And if you say detailed errors from local requests but custom error pages for remote requests, if I access the application locally, I'm going to get this page instead of the custom error page. But then if we want to really test this, I have to choose custom error pages. Okay, and then again we have to specify the path here. So that's going to be in our C drive. So C drive inetpub, and the name of the file is going to be redirect to. So let's change that to the same path, C:\inetpub / redirect to https.htm. I'm going to click OK. That's it. We are done. Now Let's go ahead and try to access this one now. Look at what's going to happen. I press enter. Look at that. I'm automatically redirected to HTTPS. So in the previous session, we discussed about redirecting users using the URL redirect module. In this session, we discussed about using the custom error pages in IIS. And that's the JavaScript function and HTML which is doing the required work for us. On this slide, you can find resources for ASP.NET C#, and SQL Server interview questions. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.